Warm, honey-coated light slipped through the beige curtains hanging in front of the window, painting the dark room a soft golden glow and swaying the fourth figure that laid in bed. Its heated, warm glow, a telltale sign that it is indeed bright and sunny out, and probably high noon. The feeling is gentle, enveloping the four bodies in its loving warmth. That doesn't deter Tengen from squeezing his eyes as he imprinted the sunlight stared across his body. Suddenly, Tengen hadn't slept at all since he came home that late morning. After leaving Yoshiwara and arriving home, the sound husher was greeted by Sima, Hina, and Makio, who all wanted to know how his night went and how did Yin react about him being married and having 3 wives. The conversation lasted for hours, as Tengen told his wives everything from the confusion to the kiss and even the booty grabs, which he got a scowl by a fuming Makio for being a lavishing pervert. Nonetheless, but the 3 women had been erratic when he had eventually explained to them that Yin had agreed to let him court her, and were even more excited to have a soon-to-be another part of their polyamorous relationship. More one person than the others. Tengen didn't want to rush things, as he had explained that Yin first needed some time to think things through, which they'd understand completely. Tengen stayed awake that morning, though he wasn't aware it's not beneficial for his health. He finally should be getting some rest, in case he would be summoned by the Demon Slayer course or be assigned on a mission. But his heart was still beating so fast, as if high on sugar, that he was sure it was about to pop out of his chest and shoot right out into the morning sky, and find its way back to a certain little maid, who has those affections. Luckily, his heart needed committed a such drastic crime, for he just spent the hours doing the deed with his wives. Tengen, who all now laid cuddled next to him, both Suma and Makio on his left and Hina on his right, all still in the, but sound asleep. Even a full round of heated passion couldn't stop Tengen from thinking about his lovely Yin and what she's up to right now, since he'd left the Gurwan. He simply could not wait to return to her and spend hourly nights with her again, and he turned his head and glanced towards the empty space behind Hina, imagining Yin laying there. Indeed, a low king size they slept in was big enough to hold 5 people, and thoughts of waking up next to you every day planted a smile on his face. You deserve to be in the bed next to him, and his wives, of course, and not at some dirty old brothel that was slowly draining you of your joy and self-esteem. Clearly, that toad woman, Lady Yatomoto, valued you none whatsoever, and Tengen knew that you were probably miserable, so to speak, probably sacrificing your sleep just to stay up and do back-breaking chores until everyone's neat and tidy for yet another endless night of false passion, lust, and sin. For Tengen, he obviously knew the Gurwan wasn't nothing if weren't for you to be bet. He didn't have any appreciation for your you didn't get, any appreciation for your hard work and effects. Tengen could have helped but grin his teeth. Fuck, you deserve better. If only there was some way he could show you. Suddenly, the idea popped into Tengen's head, as he quickly sat up, causing the 3 women beside him to stir and groan at the immediate loss of warmth as he crawled out the bed via the foot of the bed. Tengen? Hinatsu was the first to wake, as she tiredly rubbed her eyes of sleep. She saw the muscular, form of her husband disappear into another room, her brows furrowed in confusion when Tengen briefly pops his head back into the doorway. Hey, Hina, what's the name of that flower shop in Hisoka? The sun's rays sweeping through the curtains rose you from your peaceful slumber. Scrunching up your face, you squeeze your already shut eyes even tighter and bury your face in the pillow. Blissful dreams of cotton candy, fluffy clouds, and Tengen faded away as you groaned whilst not moving from your spot. You really didn't want to get out of bed today, but you must. Last night almost felt like a dream itself, with Tengen's touches and words with littered even after you went to bed. You were nearly about to drift back to sleep when you felt movement beside you. A small head with white fur and pointed ears popped out from under the blanket. Meow, came the soft meow of Marshmallow as she yawned and stretched. Before looking at you, still you didn't move, causing the cat to tilt her head at you in question. Meow. Marshmallow meowed again, this time poking her cheeks with her tiny paw, causing you to giggle lightly at the feeling of her toe beans against your skin. Such a weird feeling. 5 more minutes, please. Marshmallow purrs before leaning to lick on your cheek, sweetly as you giggled slightly at the ticklish sensation. Okay, I'm awake. You laugh, opening your eyes. Marshmallow purrs happily again, nuzzling her forehead against your face. You softly smile, then slowly sit up and stretch your arms, feeling tired joints pop out. My, you must be excited to start the day, you ask. No, she replies, purring happily as you petted her. Your morning were always a bliss with her as you stretched before getting out of bed to start the day. After doing everything you did in the morning, getting dressed, you casually made your way down the corridors to start on your chores today. Have you heard the news? Another girl committed suicide at the Kyoko house last night. How awful! Again? Damn, that's the 3rd time this week. You saw Sayomi talking to 2 other girls, Ichiko and Kazumi, as you unintentionally eavesdropped on their conversation. I wouldn't want to work there, said Kazumi. I heard it's because of Lady Wabarimi. It said those who work with her can't take the pressure, so they kill themselves, replies Ichiko. Did you know the girls here at the Girl One are calling her the Jinsua? Kizuna asks. The courtesan from hell? Inichiko questions, as Kazumi only nods in response. Uramimi. Rumors says she's gorgeous as she is cruel. Rumored to torment and bully girls until they commit suicide, or even go insane. Strangely, there's also been a number of disappearances, occasionally lately in Yoshishira. Please, Sayomi scoffs. The hell courtesan is only a myth told by strict mothers to their sons as a lesson to stay away from women in the red light district, she says. Plus, I heard it's because of their manager, Lady Otsumu. I think she was starting to something to do with it. Though it seems pretty far-fetched despite the incidents seeming to resolve around Urarimi. However, it all could just be a coincidence, and both Inichiko and Kazumi couldn't help but agree with Sayomi on the matter. Also, have you heard they found another dead body in the alleyway? Sayomi suddenly questioned. Again? You're saying the authorities still haven't caught the killer? Ichiko asks. The thought of another murder in Yoshiwara was deeply unsettling. She couldn't believe that the killer was still on the loose, posing a threat to anyone in the community. Apparently not. The poor bastard had been found hacked into pieces. Sayomi then clenched her hands on top of one of another, pressing. She's gripping an imaginary sword or axe as a sadistic smile crosses her features. Investigator believes the killer wielded either a katana or I'm going to butcher the name, but Kazuri-sama, which they used to chop and dismember the victim. People say it's such a horrifying sight that it actually caused one woman to have a miscarriage, Sayomi exclaims. Her words made the 2 girls pale with fear as she continues. Strangely, the killers left no trace, footprint, or evidence behind, almost as if they're a phantom and only attacks people at night. Some people say it's the work of a Jinkanichikan, a ghost that preys upon humans and feasts on their flesh, Sayomi adds. They said to appear human for the first part, except their features are monstrous. They have sharp, pointed teeth, which they use to peel the flesh off their victims, and would often keep the bones as souvenirs. She consoled. Both Kizumi and Ichika quivered in fear at the gruesome description. They couldn't fathom the idea of encountering such a terrifying being in real life. Is this some kind of joke? It's not funny, Sayomi. Kizuna glanced, still shaking in fear. Sayomi only laughs. What? That's what they said. Besides, there's no such thing as a Jinkajikinkan. So quit being such a cry cat, Kizuna-chan. She scoffs before stopping once she spotted you. Well, good evening, little parasite. She greeted you curtly. Did you sleep well? She asked. Her voice was sharp, cutting through the air with a hint of malice. Despite the casual tone in her voice, there was an underlying hostility that made your skin crawl. Like a log, you wanted to say, but instead, you only smiled. Good afternoon to you as well, Sayomi. You greeted, pretending like you hadn't been standing there listening to their conversation. Sayomi only grimaced upon noticing your easygoing attitude. She hated seeing you happy. Last night, she had utterly surprised to find out that the attractive silver-haired stranger had chosen you over a stunning courtesan like herself, and to say she was jealous would be an understatement. So, how did your first night with the handsome milkman go, She asked, forcing a smile. You blinked owlishly at that. The milkman? What in TikTok was she talking about? Who's the milkman? It took a moment for you to realize to sink in that she was referring to Tengen. Oh, it went well. Thanks for asking, you replied, a sheepish smile playing on your lips. I still can't believe someone actually chose you, Sayomi said, giving you a disgusted look. That guy must have been desperate. Oh well, it's not like it'll last. He'll eventually get bored and choose someone else, she added, a wicked smirk crossing her smile. You tried not to let her cruel words get to you. Tengen would never do that, would he? I mean, of course he's a married man with 3 wives, but he truly seemed infatuated by you, and had been truthful with you and sheepishly admitted to his faults. Tengen had told you his true intentions, and willing to go as far as to make you his 4th wife. You were fallen deeply in love with him, and despite your insecurity mindset holding you back, you really needed to see what your relationship will become and what nightly shenanigans will ensure once he comes back. No matter what Sayomi says, you were sure Tengen wasn't going to give up on you. Not until he's made you his 4th wife, after all. No one even really pays attention to you, not like Tengen. His predictions is both flattering and overwhelming, as he continues to pursue you like an underwhelming determination. While someone like Lady Yatamoto may ask questions of his motives and intentions, you can't deny the way he makes you feel cherished and valued. In a world where you often feel invisible, Tengen's pursuit is a beacon of light that shines brightly on you, making you feel truly seen and appreciated. The thought of that corner of your lips curving upwards as you glanced up at Sayomi. Your hair-colored hair bangs parted slightly, revealing your pretty face. With newfound confidence, you replied, Well, we'll see, won't we? You gave a smug smile on your own and turned on your heels, walking away with your head held high. Sayomi and the others stared at you in disbelief.